A couple of reports that dropped from The Athletic that reveal the Toronto Raptors have dodged a serious bullet over the past few off seasons. So we're going to discuss that, including Bruce Brown getting more comfortable with this Raptors group here now at this point. And one thing I missed, an interesting tidbit from Bobby Webster's press conference that I think has an interesting sort of perspective on where the Raptors are going. So lots of stuff to dive into, but before we dive into that, folks, again, you guys have been crushing it, hitting that subscribe button. It's been the craziest sort of stretch of Toronto for this channel, the channel's history, but still over 56% of our viewers. A lot of these folks are new people coming in. So if you're new to watching the Raptors Digest videos, definitely hit that subscribe button because it means the world to us. So we can keep you up to date with all of the latest Toronto Raptors news. But let's dive into the Toronto Raptors dodging a bullet, because one name that has been linked to the Toronto Raptors for the past 2, 3 off seasons, trade deadlines, whatever it is, whenever trade rumors percolate, it seems like this guy has been linked at least prior to the summer, and this is DeAndre Ayton, who, again, is a centerpiece. He's a young guy in the NBA, has a former number 1 overall pick, has a conference finals, an NBA finals underneath his belt, and a player that it would have been an intriguing piece to bring into the Toronto Raptors. And apparently things have been a bit tumultuous. We haven't really heard much, from the outside looking in. The Portland Trailblazers, they haven't been that great this season either. But from the outside looking in, we haven't really seen much, but a report has dropped revealing the truth regarding DeAndre Ayton, and it's kind of a mess. Basically, DeAndre Ayton's tantrums could cost him his career. That's one of the headlines going around. Basically, this is a snippet from the article from The Athletic. Basically, I would have liked something bold, and this is coming from a Blazers beat reporter, a trade of DeAndre Ayton for starters. Although his play has spiked for the better in the past month, his first months in Portland were defined by tardiness and tantrums, according to team sources, and there have been an eerie resemblance to Hassan Whiteside, the former Blazers center, whose statistics look nice but had a little to no impact on the game. The quicker the Blazers can move off of Ayton, the sooner I will believe this franchise is headed in the right direction. So this is pretty crazy. This is pretty wild because Ayton was obviously one of the centerpieces in their Damian Lillard sort of trade, in that multi-team package where a lot of pieces were moving between the Bucks, the Suns, the Blazers, and things. So, and then the Celtics with Drew Holiday going out. So DeAndre Ayton being essentially a bust for the Portland Trailblazers is pretty crazy. And basically, you could look at his stats, right? 13 points, 14 points, 10 rebounds. Not that bad, but nothing too drastic. But you look at DeAndre Ayton in terms of a player, right? He's a guy that's making $32 million per year this season, $34 million per year next season, then $35 million per year the season after. And he's really regressed for the Portland Trailblazers here now at this point. Only, diving deep from, the 18 points per game last year down to 14. He's taken a step back. Things haven't really been working out for the Portland Trailblazers. So this is interesting because, again, the Toronto Raptors have been a team that have been long linked to DeAndre Ayton. Apparently, they were this close to actually trading for him when he was available as like a sign-and-trade sort of piece when the Suns felt like they were pretty done with him. Basically, DeAndre Ayton was nearly a Toronto Raptor. The Raptors were nearly close to working out a sign-and-trade with the Phoenix Suns last summer, a couple summers ago now. This is an older report that would have brought the 24-year-old to Toronto, according to TSN's Josh Lewinberg. Phoenix had been reluctant to offer Ayton a max contract, but an offer sheet from the Indiana Pacers eventually forced their hand, ending any hope of a signing trade for Toronto and ultimately keeping Ayton in Phoenix for that season. And then obviously ended up getting dealt after to the Portland Trailblazers. And the Pacers, Portland Trailblazers, the Pacers had to give up significant assets, obviously Damian Lillard, in order to acquire DeAndre Ayton, amongst other pieces. So that's pretty crazy. That Portland Trailblazers deal is looking bad right now. Bringing in Ayton, Malcolm Brogdon, and Robert Williams. Williams, who I think is out for the season. Brogdon, who's good but is older. And then DeAndre Ayton, who certainly hasn't worked out for that group, according to this report. So, some people want to roast Masai Ujiri, and it's not like it was Masai pulling out last second, but roast the decision of bringing in Jakob Poeltl. Sure, we had to give up a first-round pick in a draft that's regarded as something that's not that elite, not that much top-tier talent. Again, we don't really know if that's the case. It's really tough to project how well a draft is actually going to be in the future, but that Jakob Poeltl sort of route at the center position is a much better pathway, in my opinion, than a DeAndre Ayton. Forget the first and all that type of stuff. Yak finishes around the rim. He hustles. He plays defense. He's bought into a winning culture and thinks, I'm much happier with this direction, even though Aiden's a bit younger, fits the timeline, all those types of things. But we'll see what happens in the future now with DeAndre in Portland. Some people might speculate if we trade Jakob Poeltl, we go in that more of a tanking route. Maybe we trade for him in the summer. But the way things have played out, at least in Portland, the direction of Hassan Whiteside, definitely the Raptors dodged a bullet along those lines. And next thing we're taking a look at is Scottie Barnes wanted this. Now, I missed this from Bobby Webster's sort of press conference, and things that sort of came out. It was addressed in the comment section. I'll give a shout out for, I forget the name. I had it memorized coming in. I'll give a shout out in the pinned comment or the description of this video. But made me look back because apparently Bobby Webster had some interesting comments in this sort of press conference discussing how Scottie Barnes has been looking to play with a stretch big man. And frankly, that makes sense. The Toronto Raptors want to add some additional shooting. That is something I addressed in the most recent videos because the Raptors, more spacing they have around guys like RJ Barrett and Scottie Barnes, who obviously have improved as three-point shooters, particularly RJ Barrett since he's joined the Toronto Raptors and Scottie Barnes coming into the season. But those are guys that really are strong at attacking the rim, getting buckets inside the paint. So if you have that paint opened up as much as possible, that is huge for this Raptors group. And obviously, just discuss Poeltl, how he's a cool fit, especially on the defensive end. But bringing in Kelly Olynyk is something that Scottie Barnes wanted. He wanted to stretch big man. It's something they discussed, they talked about. So the fact that that's sort of the direction that the Raptors are going in, they're buying in what their star players want. Apparently, that's what Pascal Siakam wanted for years as well, and then it didn't end up happening. But the fact that they can space the floor, have this sort of stretch big man to play alongside of Scottie Barnes, Jonte Porter there as well. I think this is a really cool piece and could unlock pieces of Scottie Barnes' game going forward. Now, I'm recording this before the Cavaliers game. I'm traveling to Panama on Sunday, so tomorrow. So hopefully this will probably go up on Sunday, depending on how the upload schedules go. So I don't know how their debut is going to look just yet. I'll be doing a post-game reaction hopefully tonight, so reacting to that Cavs game. But we'll see how that sort of, the birth of this new era of a stretch big man around Scottie Barnes looks for this team. So hopefully the Raptors do get a win in that one. And then the final thing we're sort of discussing in this vid is Bruce Brown getting comfortable with the Toronto Raptors. Obviously, Bruce Brown, when he was brought to the Toronto Raptors, makes sense. Didn't really embrace being in Toronto too much, given the fact he thought he was going to get dealt. Apparently, he was living in a hotel room, just kind of seeing this as a potential layover, given all the reports, rumors. I'm sure Masai Ujiri was in direct contact with him as well. So there's that sort of factor, and then you think you're going to get traded. The fans, you aren't just that worried about you on the court. But again, Bruce Brown is a really cool player. He's only 27 years old, plays elite defense, can space the floor a little bit, but is a good cutter, finisher around the rim. Does a lot of things out there that are valuable to a basketball team. And now he's getting comfortable with the Toronto Raptors, at least in the last game against Houston. Had a very good, especially first half. And, apparently he's showing off in the locker room now as well. Country music in the Raptors locker room. Haven't heard that before in the NBA, but Bruce Brown is the influence. Brown told me he's really happy to have the deadline over with and to remain a Toronto Raptor. So it's nice to see Bruce Brown. We'll actually get to see him fully integrated into this team, fully integrated into the system, showing off his music taste. Obviously, it's been notorious Jimmy Butler throw some country music in the locker room, so, Bruce Brown channeling his inner Jimmy, but, excited to see what he can actually do now that he's going to be more comfortable with this team, and the fans are going to embrace him more because we have a full half season with him now at this point. But let me know what you guys think about all this Toronto Raptors news. You guys are the best to make it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.